2 began 1 year after Chain of Memories and followed Roxas, a new face who had closer ties to Sora than he could have ever imagined. It wasn't long before Roxas encountered nobodies, which were shells of those left behind when a Heartless was formed. These half-humans drove the plot forward, calling upon villains new and old to continue their charge against Mickey's kingdom. Each Disney film relived through Sora's eyes was conceived as its own world, recreating numerous iconic landmarks and often scenarios ripped right from the celluloid print. Among them were Alice's Wonderland, the Deep Jungle, the 100-Acre Wood, Agrabah, Atlantica, Neverland, Halloween Town, the Beast's Castle, Timeless River, Port Royal, and Space Paranoids, in addition to new worlds created especially for the series. A number of extra familiar Disney characters could be called into battle to aid Sora, much like the summoning system of Final Fantasy XII. Donald and Goofy departed the battlefield in place of Aladdin's Genie, Chicken Little, Stitch, Dumbo, and Tinkerbell, to name a few. Each sidekick aided Sora for a limited time and possessed a special attack. A short list of Final Fantasy characters prompted guest sightings, as the series was mostly dominated by Disney's long line of movie stars. Square cameos were relegated to Vivi and Setzer's competitive struggle matches, Waka, Titus, and Selphie's appearance on Destiny Islands, and a few brief moments shared with the trio of Pixies from Final Fantasy X-2. Their influences varied, as Cloud appeared to have Vincent Valentine costume pieces in Kingdom Hearts 1, but clearly resembled his Advent Children counterpart in 2. Following in the footsteps of Final Fantasy X, the Kingdom Hearts series utilized voice acting to tell most of its story. When possible, a strong effort was made to preserve the original Disney performers. Reprising their timeless roles were Catherine Beaumont, Jodie Benson, Robbie Benson, Kenneth Mars, Chris Sarandon, James Woods, Scott Weinger, Robert Guillaume, David Ogden Stiers, Angela Lansbury, and Bruce Boxleitner, among many others. In order to give life to many of the Final Fantasy characters who didn't have voices, as well as characters unique to the Kingdom Hearts series, Square employed a number of popular performers. Two of the Kingdom Hearts creations, Sora and Riku, were voiced by Sixth Sense child star Haley Joel Osment and Seventh Heaven heartthrob David Gallagher. Joining them were the vocal talents of Lance Bass, Brittany Snow, and Christopher Lee. Billy Zane, David Boreanaz, and Mandy Moore also lent their voices to Kingdom Hearts, but were replaced for Kingdom Hearts 2 with other standbys, many of whom Square used in Advent Children. Other legends of the voiceover world, such as Dan Castellaneta and Tress MacNeille, both known for their work on The Simpsons, filled in the cast. Industry crossovers like Kingdom Hearts are often dreamt up and pleaded for by fans, but the rare results are never executed to the production standards Square and Disney set on the series, or received as warmly as it's been over the years. 3 Kingdom Hearts sequels have been announced that will take the storyline in unthinkable directions. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 both received substantial sales numbers and kudos from gamers of all ages. But the theme is also a mixture that's as puzzling as it is lovable. Instead of letting the concepts collide like the Jetsons meet the Flintstones, Nomura made it an astonishingly complex world unto itself. So much so that he even altered characters first drawn by his own hand. The infant franchise may have had Walt and Hironobu fans scratching their heads, but Kingdom Hearts has already established itself as a rival to the two massive forces that inspired it. If the spin-offs of Final Fantasy represent how popular its evolving world has become, then these 3 franchises, Legend, Crystal Chronicles, and Kingdom Hearts, are proof that its influence will never die. It may take up to half a decade for a Final Fantasy Roman numeral to assume its shape, but while fans wait, there will always be plenty of diversions to keep them looting with their allies or getting reunited with adoring childhood companions. Come back next week when we revisit the original 6 Final Fantasies in their multiple remakes, and follow the 20-year war the franchise has waged between the English and Japanese languages. The hundreds of fascinating revisions and amusing misspellings of numerous people and places have been formally documented in 10 ports of the original 6 installments, across the PlayStation, Game Boy Advance, PSP, and Nintendo DS.